Hello, I'm Shawn Knox, and this series is called Home Work: How to Create a Successful Business from Home. We're going to start right in with the space. It's always good and wonderful if you have an office or studio that has a door. One of the reasons for that is that when you walk into that room, you take ownership of it. You know it's your space and you know the things that need to be done within that space to make your business successful. There are all kinds of ways to make that space yours, and we'll talk about that later in this audio. But really try to look for a space that you can call your own, whether that's in your home or outside of the home. The next thing is we often feel like we don't want to do this because it's our business and we have all this flexibility, but we really need to set a routine and hold ourselves to it. Not only do you need to have physical boundaries in your workspace, but you need to schedule times. You need to have calendars and actions. Just like when you worked outside the home, you had to show up at a certain time and leave at a certain time. I think it's really important to hold yourself to a schedule and keep yourself on track. The next thing is, let's get organized. Your workspace should facilitate creativity and focus. I like to think that the better the space looks, the harder you'll work in it. So I think for me, I've made a mission to keep my office and studio space very well organized so that if I need, props, paints, creams, whatever it is, I know where it is. And I always clean up as soon as I complete a project. I think that's really important too, to start and finish. Back to making this space pretty, I do believe that to do beautiful work, you need to work in a beautiful space. Now, this does not mean that you need to put a lot of money into your space, but I do think it's important that when you walk in, you love being in that space. You can do all kinds of things with paint, with wall hangings, with words of inspiration. But when you step your foot in there, you should feel inspired. You can decide if you need to be visually inspired or visually calm. I always love seeing workspaces where there's a big bulletin board filled with a lot of inspirational photos and quotes. That's one of the things I have in my own workspace. I think we work best when we're surrounded by inspirational type images. And again, back to the organization of your office, I'm visual, and so I can tell you the color of every book I own. So my books are organized by color. What do you need to rearrange so you can more easily work in your office? I think the other key to an inspiring workplace is not to have work stuff all around. We mentioned this a little bit about being organized, but I think you need to figure out, how am I going to work my project, get the materials I need for that project, and then clean up, put that away, and put it back in some sense of an organized fashion. So when I go to do another project, I know how to get it. You can figure out a lot of storage solutions for all the items that you need in your workplace, but you're only going to keep a few of those items out on your table or desk as you work. I think as a maker of things, I love putting up inspiring artwork that I've done. It makes me want to do more work, so you should think about that. And then I also think bringing in greenery, plants, a potted tree, something that brings the outside in, also makes it a very inspirational space. Now let's talk about the most important thing you do in your workspace beyond your projects. That is building community. Working from home can be so isolating, so it's super important that you're creating a community with whom you can connect and reach out. One of my best friends has an interior design business, and even though we're in different industries, we are constantly chatting about projects, best practices, and what our goals are. We don't even live in the same state, but having that friend who can relate to what I'm doing is so helpful to me. Locally, I have an amazing network of creatives and business owners who I keep up with and meet regularly. Getting out and being around people doing similar things is super important to building your business as an entrepreneur. And my last word on this, we started with, creating your beautiful office space and having a space that you can walk into and feel really proud about and excited to work at. The other thing I want to leave you with is then you take that and you posture yourself as what you know you are, which is the owner of your own company. You bring forward the confidence that you have, the belief you have, the purpose that you have, and that's what you bring out into the world. That's how you want the world to see you. And so part of the series is helping you understand how to better work from home and also understand that just by working from home doesn't mean that you have to cast a small shadow toward what you're bringing to the world. You can cast a very large, large shadow, one that is filled with love and hope and change, but you have to feel it inside of you. So I hope by talking about your space and getting you excited about maybe redoing your space and thinking how that might be done differently will be just one element of posturing yourself to be the successful business owner you are. Thanks for listening.